TNT, and tonight we're in Big D for Game 1 of this best-of-7 first-round series. The Portland Trail Blazers and the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas the 3 seed, and Portland is the 6 seed coming out of the Western Conference. And the Blazers tonight with Scottie Pippen, Derek Anderson, Bonzi Wells, Dale Davis, and Rasheed Wallace. They don't have a single top 20 scorer on their team. Dallas has a bunch. In fact, Nowitzki comes in as the number 6 scorer in the NBA, up front with Bradley and LaFrentz. And then Steve Nash and Michael Finley is back now in the backcourt for the Dallas Mavericks. It is a big night in Dallas. Not only are they beginning the NBA playoffs here tonight, but up in Edmonton in the NHL, the Dallas Stars are taking on Edmonton in Game 6 in that best-of-7 playoff series. And let's go back to Craig Sager.
Well, the game begins with 15 balls in a rack, 7 for each team to warm up with, and 1 game ball. Dirk Nowitzki normally picks out the game ball for the Dallas Mavericks. He likes one that's fairly new with a lot of texture. However, Scottie Pippen saw the ball, rejected it. The two could not agree on what ball to use. Finally, Steve Javie came in and picked it out. So this is one game that Dirk Nowitzki did not get his way. He does not have his favorite game ball.
And already some gamesmanship starting between these two teams who met 4 times in the regular season. And Danny, Dallas twice and Portland won twice.
Yeah, but this regular season, guys weren't here, guys weren't healthy, and they weren't motivated like they are today. Everybody's healthy on both teams, and it's a whole new season. Regular season means nothing.
Craig Sager reminded me of Danny Ainge. I was told that he always wanted to play with his own ball.
Yeah, right. I would take my ball home if I didn't get to play with that one. It's interesting to see how Dallas and Nelly is so concerned about the offensive rebound and the inside depth that he's going to start Sean Bradley, Rafe LaFrentz, and Dirk Nowitzki, 3 7-footers in the lineup.
I think you can expect to see some zone, too, because of that size he's got out there. He'll probably play a lot more zone.
I think a lot of that will be determined by the matchup of Nowitzki and Bonzi Wells and how Nowitzki's going to match up with Wells on the perimeter.
Our officials tonight here in Dallas in Game 1, Steve Javie, Mike Callahan, and Ron Elysiak, 3 outstanding officials. As we set to get underway, Dallas with a first ever 60-win season. They began the season 14-0, and the Portland Trail Blazers started the year okay. They accelerated when Scottie Pippen took over at the point guard and finished 50-32. It's Dallas, it's Portland, it's Game 1, and here we go on TNT. And the Mavericks will start it. Here comes Steve Nash. Danny, if you're Portland, how do you defend Nash?
Well, it looks like Scottie Pippen wasn't even sure who to guard right there. Derek Anderson ran Scottie Pippen, I don't think, was paying attention to the starting lineup, and he was caught off guard. They're going to cover Michael Finley.
Well, that's a bad sign, particularly with this team, as well as they shoot.
And Nowitzki hits the game's first shot and gives Dallas an early lead.
Well, and that's what Nowitzki has an advantage on, regardless of who's guarding him. He's so tall that he's over top of everybody and can really get his shots off.
This is Dale Davis, picked up by the 7'6" Sean Bradley. Pippen on top, had surgery on his left knee because he's not 100%. Had that surgery back in March as Rasheed Wallace goes across the lane.
Well, that's where we like to see Rasheed down there on the block, and that will be the 2 7-footers right there. I think that this starting lineup did catch Portland a little off guard. They wanted to attack Nowitzki at the offensive end, anticipating that he might be on Wallace.
And they got the kind of shots they want. Portland got the layup. That's what they've got to do, attack inside, and the other team got the jump shot.
Sean Bradley had a career high 53% from the field this season.
And he's an excellent spot-up shooter from about 15 to 17 feet. And Nash will do a lot of penetrating. And when big guys go over to block, that's how he makes them pay.
One of the things that Sean has to definitely do, Kevin, is block up the middle defensively.
And this is Pippen trying to sneak it inside with the shot clock at 2.
And right here you see the post up. They thought they'd go on Nowitzki, but they're going to go down on LaFrentz. Bradley comes over from the weak side. Beautiful, but late. His help is too late.
And Dirk Nowitzki has started the game 2 of 2 from the field.
Well, and Danny indicated that Portland's got to be a lot more alert. This team shoots the ball too well in transition. They take early offense very seriously. Portland's got to find their men a lot more rapidly than they have.
Dallas having started 3 of 3. Here's Rasheed Wallace trying to jam it inside. Gets his own miss. Rejected by Bradley. They got a new shot clock, and this is Pippen picked up by Bradley on the mismatch.
And that's that big lineup Danny was talking about, because that's got to be effective inside.
Dale Davis just picks up a foul.
And all of a sudden, this big lineup, in the presence of all the 3 7-footers in the post, has made themselves available and known and noticed by Rasheed Wallace. They're just swatting everything out there, making it difficult to even make the entry into the
What is
post.
very important, Danny, though, is Rasheed can't get discouraged. He's got to still attack inside.
This is Finley for 3. Rebound by Wallace. Wells against Nowitzki at the other end. But Dallas got back well. Nowitzki knocks it away. He leads the team in steals. It's the 3rd Portland turnover, and here comes Dallas.
And I think it's important for Michael Finley to get off to a good start. He's a little bit rusty from the injury. I don't think he's hurt. But look at Bradley flying to the basket. The praying mantis for the tip-in.
Well, the great thing about it is you see a guy put in the lineup to be effective, and he's starting off right away, tapping, and he's also blocking shots defensively.
It's Pippen trying to spoon-feed Davis. Bonzi Wells. Rebound by LaFrance. And Dallas the other way, starting the game 4 of 6. Nash inside and kicks it out. Finley for 3. And here come the Trailblazers, 1 of 4 to start the game from the floor.
And I think that's good. I mean, Finley's missed his first 2 shots, but he's got to get that out of his system. He's got to make a couple and get himself right back in track.
I really don't like what I see with Portland's transition defense. Too many open shots for a team that shoots as well as Dallas shoots.
But what I do like what I've seen is Dallas's half-court offense and Dallas's half-court defense. Bradley, nobody boxes him out at 7'6". He doesn't even have to jump, but over a 2x4 to tip that ball in at the rim.
Nash, Wells on him.
You can see they're just switching the pick and rolls with Nash and whoever sets him, trying to limit his penetration, but he's able to scramble around and find the open man.
Dirk Nowitzki has started the game 3 of 3 from the floor, and a timeout taken by Portland.
That's Maurice Cheek's biggest nightmare, is just by letting Nash penetrate off of the double screens and get into the middle of the paint and find the great perimeter shooters that Dallas has.
Nowitzki has 7. Dallas on a 9-0 run.
Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. More than 2,700 non-stop daily flights to 59 destinations all across the country. Jeep, the most respected, honored, and heroic 4x4s out there. Verizon Wireless. Sign up for America's Choice Family Share Plan. Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. And Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time.
Witness a dream.
NASA wants to send us into space.
40 years in the making.
Shoot this baby to the moon.
Space Cowboys. Next Saturday night after the NBA on TNT. We know drama.
Well, the playoffs are all about adjustments. Here was the starting 5 tonight for the Dallas Mavericks.
And here's these 3 7-footers right here, and they've already had 2 block shots and forced 4 turnovers. Right here, Flintz comes from the weak side, blocks it. Wallace gets it right back. Bradley smothers it out of there. Bradley coming in, making his size known. The size has made a difference. Again, 2 block shots, 4 turnovers by Portland that have created 7 points. A huge impact on this early start.
Neither team coming out of that break has made a change as Pippen looks down for Rasheed Wallace.
Well, Rasheed is doing what Mo Cheeks wants. At least he started off and then he faded to the corner for his jump shot. But that height, it'll be interesting to see if that height forces Rasheed to go deeper and deeper and take longer shots.
Well, and I like what they've done out of this timeout, too, is extend their defense full court. They got a 7-game series. Steve Nash is such an important part of that team. They have depth at the point guard position. They should try to wear him out.
Still, by pressuring him like that full court, they'll force some of that height to come out and help.
Finley missing a 3. That's another rebound for the Portland Trailblazers, plus 3 in that category so far. Wells, Davis, Pippen. Screen by Davis. Nice feed for Scotty inside to Dale Davis.
But they're still attacking inside, even though they have the height in there, and that's a good sign. I'm glad they didn't get discouraged and start shooting jump shots because Portland's not a jump shooting team.
Well, that's bad defense by Sean Bradley as well. He's got to just let Scottie Pippen shoot the outside shot, not let Dale Davis roll to the basket so easy.
Dallas commits their first turnover, and this is Wells looking for Davis. He has been injured with the bad back. In fact, Dale Davis of the Trailblazers missed 3 of the regular season's final 4 games. And now he's back in a one-time Dallas lead of 9 is down to 3.
And a big timeout by Maurice Cheeks. They come out, score 6 straight points, get right back in this game and stop the crowd.
It's Nash. And finally going in. And Steve Nash has his first 2 points tonight. 7 for Nowitzki leads Dallas and 4 for Wallace and Davis leading Portland. Nash comes out of the fray.
There again, Bradley's size made a difference.
Steve Nash launching a 3.
And what Portland would like to do is they want to make Steve Nash a scorer. They don't know if he's comfortable scoring 30 points every night, just coming down looking. He wants to do a little bit of both. He wants to shoot some, but more he wants to penetrate and scramble and improvise and make plays for other people. And they don't want to allow him to do both of those things.
Shot clock at 5. As Pippen tried to slither down the baseline, knocked out of bounds, and a foul on the play. LaFrentz and Bradley were both there. LaFrentz picks up his first for Dallas.
And I anticipate Nash getting a full dose of this for 7 games. They got plenty of guys off the bench with Antonio Daniels, Jeff McGinnis, Damon Stoudemire. They can all pressure him.
And when you pressure a guy like that, it's just not a question of getting the ball. If you make him work for the entire game, he's going to get tired in the latter part.
Bonzi Wells with a sledgehammer inside, and the Blazers down by 3. As moments ago you saw a shot of Nick Van Exel. He'll be very important for Dallas in this series.
Well, that's the favorable matchup. I mean, not only is Bonzi Wells one of the best offensive players, but Dirk Nowitzki, one of the worst defensive players on the perimeter, and he's trying to defend Bonzi on the perimeter. It took him 6 minutes to figure it out.
And a 3-on-1 with Rasheed Wallace and a Portland high 6 points. 7 for Nowitzki and a timeout taken by Dallas, who led by 9 literally seconds ago. And the Portland Trailblazers have come back.
Well, the great thing about what happened is just what you said, Kevin, have come back. These guys responded. They can become emotionally down too quick, but they didn't do it.
Dallas has already heaved up 5 3-point attempts. They've taken 11 shots all night. They lead by 1. They led by 9. You know what's going to surprise a lot of people, guys, is this number right here in this ranking in the NBA.
That's amazing. 4.5 is unheard of. Anywhere between over 2 is a spectacular number, as we can see, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th teams in the league. And that is amazing. And yet they come out after the last time out by Portland, create 2 turnovers, have 2 turnovers and get 4 points back to the Blazers in transition.
Well, one of the things, they have to be able to take care of the basketball because of the fact that they're not a great rebounding nor a defending team. Once they get possession of the ball, they've got to get good constructive shots, but they shoot so quickly, that would sort of knock down some of their turnovers too.
10-2 run right now by Portland. Neither team makes a change after that break. Not only talking about threes, Portland has not taken a 3-point attempt tonight. Michael Finley outside. He has started 0-4 as Michael Finley.
Coach, are you saying that some of the shots they take should be considered turnovers?
A lot of the shots, but I like that because they have a free spirit attitude, and that's one of the reasons they shoot the ball so well and they're comfortable.
John Rafael French has picked up his 2nd personal foul, so Eduardo Nahara will now come in for Dallas.
But you know what? That's not all bad because LaFrance has been very physical and been very effective on the inside for them. He's got to do that, and Nahara's coming in. You're talking about one guy who's acting physical and a guy who actually is in Nahara.
So out there for the Portland Trailblazers, Pippen, Davis, Anderson, Wallace, and Wells. They haven't changed the starting 5. And here's Wells over Nowitzki. And Bonzi Wells has 6. And Dallas has their first deficit in a while. It was early 2-0 with Portland on top. It's 14-13, Portland by 1.
That looks like a good matchup, and I like what Maurice Cheeks is doing by isolating Bonzi Wells at the top of the key. It makes it more difficult to come and give him help.
Rejection by Davis inside. Shot clock at 2. Nash. And it's out of bounds. Out there for the Dallas Mavericks. They've got Finley, Nash, Nahara, Bradley, along with Dirk Nowitzki.
Dallas is longer when you talk about rebounding, but when you look at Portland, they're probably more physical. A lot of rebounds are taken below the basket, and being physical and holding your position is going to be very important in the playoffs.
10-point turnaround here in the first quarter. Outside 3-point by Wells. Rebound Davis, knocked away by Bradley. And here comes Dallas the other way. Approaching 4 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Now, Bradley has been everywhere. Right there, they got a zone, and Dale Davis had good weak side position against Steve Nash, but Bradley came out of nowhere just with his length and blocked the shot.
Mavericks have missed their last 4 shots from the floor, and a whistle and a technical foul is thrown down low. Maybe on Don Nelson.
And you see Davis just muscling Nash out of the way, but Bradley just with his length, good job, and then he gets the outlet and gets him in the open court.
Nelson just got the tee. I'm surprised he can even talk because we met with him about 2 hours ago, John, in his office, and he could barely talk above a whisper.
Well, and he said that his assistants would have to do the yelling for him. He's forgotten that. Once he got caught up in the emotions, he's doing a little bit of his own.
This free throw right there by Anderson. He's got cold going, does Don Nelson. That's the loss of voice.
Now he's giving sign languages because he can't talk. Man. You see, he's giving signals now.
Nelly's a great coach. What a great job he's done this year. Getting 60 wins out of this team that nobody thinks is a contender, and yet, 60 wins. They're a consistent team, and he's a very innovative coach.
Nash, and that is the 5th consecutive miss by Dallas until it was tapped in by Dirk Nowitzki.
And that's a good sign because that's where they get hurt. People attack them on the offensive boards. They probably hear that so much that they're exaggerating their effort, and that's what they're going to have to do to be successful in the playoffs.
Well, Nowitzki got the basket, but Bradley got the assist. He tipped to the ball, kept the ball alive so Nowitzki could clean up the garbage.
Nowitzki's got a game-high 9. We've only had 1 free throw attempted in this game, and that was a technical shot seconds ago. Shot clock at 2. Scottie Pippen buries the 3 from outside.
And that's huge. He bailed him out right there because they had nothing offensively. That zone defense that Nelly has implemented right now has totally confused Dallas.
Well, you watch Nash, he's using a lot of energy out here, and that's what they wanted to do. Portland wanted to do is to really make him use energy because he's doing an awful lot of dribbling.
That is the 3rd Dallas turnover. It's Pippen out there again, that long sleeve on his left leg. He had knee surgery March 18th, and he is still coming back from that, as you might expect. Finley was on Pippen down low, and it goes off of Pippen and out of bounds. 5 Portland turnovers so far in the game.
Well, they try to exploit Nahara. Good pass by Nash right there, but Bonzi Wells playing a zone of his own on the weak side, does a good job. Knows he has a size disadvantage, just blocks the shot down at the knees, a la Karl Malone.
Nick Van Exel has come in for the first time, taking the place of Michael Finley.
Well, an extended defense again on the part of the Trailblazers. They really are trying to force. When you press like that, you force the big guys out higher to come to relieve some of that pressure.
Nash, it's Bradley. It looked like Danny, he was hesitating on the shot.
Well, that's his shot right there, but he's been working awful hard out there. He's running all over, flying from the free throw line, keeping the ball going. He's not used to playing that much energy in this many extended minutes.
It's Wallace for 3. Rebound by Nash. And Van Exel fakes the 3. Dallas shooting 39% from the floor.
Good hustle by Bonzi there, get back there to stop that open look.
Another rebound by the Portland Trailblazers, who lead in that category +2. Blazers the other way, shooting 53%. Dale Davis. And they swing it to Pippen. Wallace, nice rotation to Bonzi Wells. And the shot clock at 9.
Portland wants to push the ball, but they don't want to hurry down and take bad shots, particularly against Dallas, who's a quick playing team.
There's a shove and a foul, and it's called on Scottie Pippen for the first time tonight.
Well, Portland doesn't have those drop-dead shooters. Derek Anderson is their best pure shooter. Wallace can hit some, but doesn't shoot a great percentage. And Pippen and Bonzi Wells both shoot less than 30% from the three-point line. So it's hard to get that spacing in the transition. If you just go back to defend the paint, that you could cover Portland in transition.
Zach Randolph comes in for the first time, taking the place of the Blazers, Dale Davis.
And Zach has been a player that they've been extremely pleased with, particularly doing a lot of scoring inside. He's extremely a physical player, but also has a knack for scoring around the basket.
Dirk Nowitzki is a perfect 5 of 5 from the field.
Too free on those shots. I mean, he's taking about 3 shots with nobody almost near him. You got to stay near him, particularly when you're ready to switch or help. Somebody's got to tag him and stick with him.
So Nowitzki, the game-high score with 11 for Dallas. And they go inside with a nice play by Wells and a shove and a foul. And Bradley picks up his first foul, and Blazers by 2. Here's the Portland bench, guys. They say it's the deepest, maybe not the most talented group of players, but together as a team, not that bad.
I love the energy coming off that bench. McGinnis, full court pressure. Damon Stoudemire, a little gnat running all over the court. Daniels, a great defender. Sabonis, a presence inside. Ruben Patterson, maybe one of the best energizers coming off the bench in the entire league.
Physical depth is not a problem with Portland. Emotional depth is where the problem lies with them.
You're well said. One change in the lineup for Blazers. That's all we've seen. Dallas has been shuffling players in and out. And a foul down low. Bonzi Wells is taken with his first foul tonight for the Portland Trail Blazers.
I've always thought Zach Randolph was an underrated player, just playing behind the great front line of this Portland Trail Blazer team. But he gets a chance to start it the other night against Memphis and goes for 31 points and 20 rebounds and showing what he's capable of doing.
Nash trying to carve his way inside. Randolph with the rebound. As Pippen pushes it down court, Wells for Wallace, who could not slam it home. And it ricochets about 10 rows up in the stands.
And you know, you see that happening so much with the alley-oop pass. It looks good, but let's catch it and tap it in the basket.
Under a minute to play here in the first quarter. Dallas led 11-2 earlier on. No fouls to give either way with 40 seconds to play in the first. It's Nowitzki for three. Oh, Dirk Nowitzki is a flamethrower. He's gone 6 of 6 with a game high 14 points.
And there's no defense for that. When a 7-footer can shoot without even, without even moving, just catching, bending his legs and firing, that's difficult. Just like that shot, Rasheed Wallace comes down the other way. There's no defense for those kind of shots.
And Johnny leads the Blazers with 8.
Well, and definitely Rasheed is capable of shooting the shot, as Danny said. They need him with the inside attack. But Bonzi Wells on that last play with Derek had both of his hands almost on his knees. You're not as tall as he is, but you got to get up in the air and try to have some effect on his vision.
It's Nowitzki with the Bradley screen. Out to Nash, launching a three. The other way, knocked away by Nash, broke it up. He'll try to beat the buzzer. No good if it goes. No good if it goes. Wipe it away. And that takes us to the end of the first quarter. What a display by All-Star Dirk Nowitzki. 14 points, 6 of 6 from the field. And the Dallas Mavericks, who at one time led by 9, lead by 2, 23-21. You're watching the NBA playoffs on TNT. One of the great skylines in America. We're in the middle of Texas here in Dallas. And welcome to the playoffs on TNT with Danny Ainge, Craig Sager, and John Thompson. This is Kevin Harlan. Dallas is led by 9. They lead by 2. If you missed the game today between Indiana and Boston, you missed a classic. And former Kansas Jayhawk Paul Pierce was absolutely sizzling as they came back, the Celtics, and beat Indiana. Here, there's some concerns in the Dallas huddle. Not for the play on the field, but their coach.
High and wide over here. 4, set up. 2. Look for that one. Right there. Here it comes.
Get this angle over here now. Mike, you were up here a little bit.
Watch over here.
That's Del Harris, the gentleman leaning in on Don Nelson. As we told you before, back in the first quarter, he is battling a horrible sore throat. Had a bottle of Chloraseptic that he was spraying in his mouth. He has no voice. He's barely above a whisper.
I always liked it when the coaches couldn't yell.
I've been waiting for Danny Ainge to have that kind of voice. That's what I've been waiting for.
By the end of this week, I probably will.
All right, let's now set the lineup for the Portland Trail Blazers. Damon Stoudemire is in. Jeff McGinnis with the ball right now at Wells, Wallace, and Zach Randolph. And that was a missed shot with the rebound by Bradley with Nowitzki, Eduardo Nahara, Van Exel, and Michael Finley in the game.
And a lot of people have been on Nelly. Beautiful pass by Van Exel. Can you believe it? The guy's knocking down threes and jumpers. He gets his first lane and he missed it.
And Van Exel did a great job of making eye contact and shaking his head, telling him to go back door.
Well, a lot of people have been down on Nelly for having faith in Sean Bradley and paying him the big contract and so forth. But right now, he can't afford to take Sean Bradley out of this game. He's had such an impact, and he does such a good job protecting for Dirk Nowitzki. And right there, Wells is feeling so confident in his matchup against Nowitzki right now.
Wells has 8. He has the game-high honors for the Blazers with Rasheed Wallace, both with 8 points apiece. 14 by Dirk Nowitzki leads the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, this is a hard combination because Van Exel is so quick. And you've got to also play Derek because Derek is so good at shooting over people as he's just doing now.
Now Nowitzki has missed 2 in a row after beginning the game 6 of 6. Here comes McGinnis the other way for the Portland Trail Blazers. They're shooting 55% from the floor.
You want to see if Dallas can sustain, Danny, their aggressiveness on the inside. They started off in a flurry, but I hope they can sustain it.
Rebound by Nowitzki. Rebounding, Danny, was a big concern of Dallas coming into tonight.
Well, and the bigger lineup has done a good job to neutralize that a little bit. But you see that last time Mighty Mouse, Damon Stoudemire was switched off on Nowitzki and stopped it. He's got it down low, prevented him from making that jump shot.
Dallas is shooting 37% from the floor. Finley 0-5 to start things for the Mavericks.
And the zone has had a tough time finding Bonzi. Bonzi's hit the outside shots. He's done a good job of driving to the basket, getting an and one right there along the baseline. Beautiful pass and great athleticism. Bradley didn't have enough time because he was able to catch it in the paint.
And Nowitzki didn't come over to back him up. That's one thing when a big guy in the middle is floating around supporting everybody. The opposite forward has to come over sometime. The opposite guard drop back.
Arvydas Sabonis in the game for the first time for the Portland Trail Blazers, taking the place of Rasheed Wallace. And here is McGinnis, the former Los Angeles Clipper. Sabonis against LaFrentz, playing with 2 fouls for Dallas. You're chuckling, aren't you? That pass inside to Randolph. And Ruben Patterson for the first time for the Blazers. He throws it away. Here comes Van Exel, chased by Stoudemire, and he sails in for 2.
Well, that's just a breakdown. Somebody's got to rotate back. You want to interchange, use the passing game, but somebody's got to rotate back, and particularly against a team like Dallas, the signature is running and shooting quickly.
Blazers are trying to work their height and athleticism inside with some dunks.
Well, they've done a good job, especially against the zone. And right there, that matchup, they do everything they can to protect Nowitzki on the defensive end, and they haven't been able to stop the dunks.
It's a 2-point Dallas lead. Timeout.
Earlier about the depth of the Portland Trail Blazers. That timeout by Mo Cheeks was to calm down Jeff McGinnis and Zach Randolph. This is McGinnis' 6th year in the league, the first time he's been in the playoffs. As for Zach Randolph, he only got in 1 minute all of last season in the playoffs, but obviously he's playing a big role here. He went up with the ball when he had it in the paint instead of throwing it back to McGinnis and working the 2-man game. They told him to calm down, just do what he has to do, and think mostly about rebounding and blocking shots and tipping in, not trying to be an offensive, aggressive player. Kevin?
All right, Craig.
Rebounding, blocking shots, and tipping in. That's going the way of the Buffalo with big guys. Everybody wants to be outside. Everybody wants to show their move. But Mo is absolutely right. That's what you have to do to attack this Dallas team.
It's Randolph outside to McGinnis and over Finley. Ruben Patterson in there, the call jump ball. Nice defense by a hustling Eduardo Nájera for the Dallas Mavericks.
It's a war under that basket right there. Look at Ruben Patterson, though. He does a good job, and they just wrestle. There's 2 tough hombres right there.
That's the way you like to see it, though. You want to see the big guys grinding under there.
Dirty inside.
That's right.
And Dallas is holding their own with the big lineup. It's made a difference. You know, they have more second chance points. They've held Portland 0 second chance points up to this point in the game, and Dallas has 4.
I want to see those big guys, the kind that you got to spray perfume on. You want the kind to get in the mud.
Fresh shot clock, and here comes Stoudemire. Approaching 9 to play in the first half. Van Exel is on him. There's Sabonis picked up by LaFrentz. Stoudemire was starting when Pippen was injured. Down the lane, Damon Stoudemire, and a foul. And it's on the Mavericks. Nájera is down. Nájera is guilty for Dallas and picks up his first.
A good drive. The weak side help was coming over, but Nájera doesn't get his feet outside the lane and gets set early enough. Great play by Damon.
And Portland is continuing to attack inside. I thought maybe they would get discouraged when that big lineup clogged up the middle early for Dallas, but they've done a good thing by constantly keep going at them and attacking.
Here's Damon Stoudemire at the free throw line, and Stoudemire is a 79% free throw shooter. Next on TNT, Utah takes on Sacramento. And tomorrow on ESPN, Orlando, Detroit. On ABC tomorrow, the Lakers against Minnesota. And tomorrow night on TNT, the New Orleans Hornets against the Philadelphia 76ers. Stoudemire again.
A lot of good games. I mean, this playoffs is exciting. There's a lot of things going on, but what an incredible comeback by Boston. That's going to be a tough night's sleep for that Indiana team.
Here's Van Exel once again down the lane. And he tips it over to LaFrentz. Rafe LaFrentz has his first 2 points tonight playing with 2 fouls.
And 6-0 on the offensive points, offensive board points for the Dallas Mavericks.
And that's got to make Nelly happy because that's the one area that they've been very weak in.
There's a rebound by Randolph. And is that basket interference? Will they count the 2? They're going to discuss it because count the 2. It was goaltending. It went in.
Well, there's 2 points. Zach Randolph got the basket. That's what he told him. Go in there and go after the ball. Nowitzki goes up there and tries to block, tip it in. See, he's always a scorer, even at both ends of the court.
Even for the other team.
I think he thought he was in Europe, that he could knock it out of the cylinder.
So we are tied at 27. Rebounding in the game, +3 for the Portland Trail Blazers, who have trailed by as many as 9. Portland has led by as many as 2 a couple times. And Exel against Stoudemire. They're having a little conversation as they come the other way. Nice knock away by Sabonis. And takes it in for 2. What a play by 37-year-old Arvydas Sabonis. Nowitzki at the other end. He's got a game-high 16 points.
Well, he's used to running from top of the key to top of the key. That time he had to run all the way to the basket and try to get back in defense.
It's Stoudemire launching and nailing a 2-point shot. Stoudemire off the bench with 4 points in 4 minutes for the Blazers.
This pressure that Portland's applying definitely may be taking its toll because really Dallas is showing a little bit of confusion with it. Their big guys are so flat, and the guards are having all the pressure and bringing it down without any outlets.
Here's Nowitzki with the game-high 16. Inside to Finley, who is 0 of 5, 0 of 6. And here comes Stoudemire. Yeah, he is, John. You're right. Stoudemire flies on through the lane and a foul.
Well, Stoudemire's done a good job. He's been very aggressive, and he's excellent in the open court. You got to love Damon's attitude. With all the adversity that he's faced this year, to come in and be a major factor still on this team, keeping his head into it.
Finley just picks up his first foul. How about that? The Phoenix Suns have just knocked off the #1 seed San Antonio Spurs, 96-95, and a guy who's had a terrific season, Stephon Marbury. At the buzzer, hits the 3, and the Suns win it 96-95. The road team now has won 2 of the 3 games today. That is a great number.
Ooh, I get to go do that game Monday night, too. Big win for Phoenix right there. And Stephon Marbury has just been a thorn in San Antonio's side.
Boy, oh boy, how about that?
That is huge. So the home court is now gone.
He had 26 in the 4th quarter in 1 game this year against San Antonio at San Antonio.
Who was it that said in the playoffs, let's dance? Oh, my goodness.
And I always think about Stephon Marbury, John. He was in tears the night that the Suns clinched. Danny, and you know that situation very well living in Phoenix. That kid has matured so much over the last couple of years since the Jason Kidd trade with New Jersey.
Yeah, and he was beat up pretty bad last year because Jason Kidd had such a spectacular season. You know, runner-up MVP of the league and led his team to the NBA Finals. And so Steph worked really hard this year, and he's come back with a great year of his own and carried that team on his back.
And another steal. Here comes Patterson vacuuming in the ball, and Bradley knocks it away, and McGinnis finally puts it in. And Jeff McGinnis, as Craig Sager just told you, his first ever playoff experience with his first 2 ever playoff points.
You give Bradley and McGinnis a lot of credit for that because Bradley came back to block it. McGinnis still pursued and fouled the offensive rebound. The other Dallas players just stood at half court.
That's Dirk Nowitzki, who continues to put on a great shooting show. He's got 18 points in 17 minutes. That is a game high.
He's an offensive machine. You know, he puts so much pressure on him. He can do so many different things and create such difficult matchups.
And a defensive liability.
Wallace back in for the Blazers with McGinnis, Sabonis, Ruben Patterson, and Stoudemire. Rasheed Wallace and a whistle away from the ball. Sabonis has to scrape himself up and off the floor. Did Bradley pick that up? He did. That's number 2 on him.
Bradley knocks Sabonis down?
Almost doesn't sound physically possible, does it?
I tell you, it's quite apparent, though, that Dallas is sort of fed up of that nice guy image, that lack of rebounding, and they have definitely exaggerated their physicalness in this game, and that's a good sign if they can sustain it. Early in the game, they did a great job of doing it.
Dallas out there, then Exel, Nowitzki, Bradley, Naharan, Nash. Nice shot running inside. And a quick 4 points now for Jeff McGinnis off the bench.
And McGinnis shoots that little floater in the paint better than anybody that I've ever seen.
Nash. Inside to Naharov. Shot clock at 9. Nowitzki across the lane and scoops it up. And picked up by Rasheed Wallace. Blazers shooting 55%. Stoudemire loops it up and down with that runner inside the lane, and a timeout as the Portland Trail Blazers have their biggest lead tonight of 8 points. We've had a 17-point turnaround in this first half alone.
And you gotta love Portland's defense and give Maurice Cheeks and the Portland depth a lot of credit, because right now Dirk Nowitzki's getting off, but nobody else is contributing offensively.
The sold-out American Airlines Center in Dallas.
The NBA playoffs on TNT, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Cold, down, easy. And Wendy's Classic Hamburgers. It's better here.
EJ in Atlanta, things not exactly going according to the playoff script. You saw number 1 San Antonio losing to Phoenix. Number 3 Indiana lost to Boston. Paul Pierce had 40, 21 of those in the fourth quarter. And the number 3 seed in the West is losing back to Kevin Harlan.
What about these road teams, Ernie? This is amazing. Here we got the road-bound Portland Trail Blazers, the 6th seed in the Western Conference, leading by 8. They trailed earlier by 9. No one on double-figure pace right now for Portland. Nowitzki has been terrific so far for the Dallas Mavericks with a game-high 18 points. A couple players with 8 for the Blazers, but John, that's kind of their MO. That's the way they go. They got a lot of guys, and they use a lot of guys, as we've seen tonight.
Well, they definitely do. And a lot of guys now seem to be a little stable. The big question with the Trailblazers has never been their ability physical, but their opponent most of the time has been their emotions, not their opponent, not the other team.
Adrian Griffin comes in for the first time for Dallas. Joining Van Exel, Nowitzki, Nash, and LaFrentz. Inside across the lane, Nowitzki. Fouled and counted for 2. Dirk Nowitzki's got 20 points as he has gone 9 of 12 from the field.
Oh, this is the first free throw attempt halfway through the second quarter, and it's the first time that Dallas is getting to the line. Again, Dirk Nowitzki's going off, going for his 21st point right here. But again, Portland's defensive game plan has been working pretty good.
It's really beautiful to watch Derek High when he drives to the basket. He takes away ball, gives you his body, and then shows up with the ball right at the hoop.
Nowitzki just hits the free throw. Arvydas Sabonis picks up his first foul. Stoudemire, McGinnis, Wallace, Sabonis out there with Ruben Patterson for the Blazers. The bench of Portland has been absolutely terrific, outscoring the bench of Dallas 16-2. Stoudemire for 3. And Adrian Griffin rebound, and rebounding tonight. Dallas is -5 in that category. It's LaFrentz for 3. Rebound Sabonis.
Good job by Stoudemire getting back there to keep that ball alive for Sabonis to get the rebound.
Portland is 1 of 4 shooting 3-point shots. Dallas 3 of 9 from above the arc. Wallace shot clock at 7 as he tries to work inside.
Good patience by Wallace right there. They were kind of faking the double team so they could all recover back to their own guys. He was very patient, got the shot he wanted. He knew he had Nowitzki on his back, took advantage of it.
And the Dallas is going to be very vulnerable inside defensively now, because Bradley, who's done an excellent job, is now sitting on the bench. So you can kind of look for Portland to really start to attack him on the inside.
Nowitzki just picked up his first personal foul. Here is Rasheed Wallace with 8 points. Stuck right there. Michael Finley, who had a stretch of missed 13 games because of a strained left hamstring. He played the final 2 games of the regular year. Has started this game 0 of 6, and he is invaluable to the success of the Dallas Mavericks.
And you can tell he's just a little rusty.
Very tentative right now. Probably needs some games under his belt, because we know that he's a competitor and an excellent player.
And Nelly talked about that before the game. He was worried about Michael Finley and how he'd respond now. He believes that Michael will get it going as the series goes along, but was worried about tonight's game. And Scottie Pippen, another guy who sat out. Scottie Pippen had a very quiet first quarter, hit that one desperation 3, but we haven't seen him at all in the second quarter.
Griffin with the miss. Loose ball foul. It's out of bounds. It's off Nowitzki, who picks up yet another foul, his second in a row.
Well, that was a very foolish foul on his part, too, because it was set. Everybody was in position. He comes into the offensive board and just goes over the man's back. That's why Nelly's scratching his head. That'll drive not only his voice, he'll lose his voice, he'll lose his head.
Turnovers in the game, Danny, real quickly. 8 for the Blazers, 5 for Dallas.
You think Dirk Nowitzki's a bad player? Watch him play defense once he gets in foul trouble.
Patterson can't hit team fouls. Portland has 1, Dallas has 5. Here's Ruben Patterson, who is not the healthiest himself. He's got a fractured left eye socket, which is on the mend, but you see no protection. And his second attempt missed. Gets his own miss, fighting off 3 Mavericks, and claws in for 2. What a great play by Ruben Patterson.
When a guy plays that hard, you just see the Dallas Mavericks, they just mailed Dirk Nowitzki, almost like ran away from him. He was so intense.
Well, you talk about hustle, that was really hustle.
And Nowitzki now at 23 as he takes it right down the middle.
This guy's an unbelievable offensive player, though. I mean, he can do most things. Shoot, catch and shoot on the dribble. He's extremely smooth. He's something to watch. I just wonder why he can't translate that into the defensive end of the court. That agility and mobility.
What a crossover by Damon Stoudemire for the Portland Trail Blazers.
What a huge lift Damon has given them. But coach, you know, one thing, he's just not made for defense, but you know, his offense, just by him setting screens, it opens things up for everybody else. You know, cross screens, ball screens, putting it in the post, creating all sorts of mismatch, having him run screen and rolls. He's by far the most versatile offensive guy in the league.
Rasheed Wallace knocks in the second Portland Trail Blazer 3-point hit tonight. They are now 2 of 5. They are out-rebounding the Dallas Mavericks by 9. And now the Blazers have their biggest lead tonight of 9.
Well, this guy's a 7-footer. Look at that. 7-footer shouldn't be able to do that kind of thing.
Well, there's one guy who knows he's going to miss free throws, and that's Patterson. So he gets a jump on him right here. Look at Nowitzki. I'm going to get out of the way. I can't get a foul.
11-point lead, 47-36, the Portland Trail Blazers.
USA Today is the place for a comprehensive look around the league. Get all the latest scores, stats, standings, and daily game recaps to keep you up to date with your favorite teams and players. So pick up your copy of USA Today every day.
All season long, the Sacramento Kings have waited for the beginning of the playoffs, and now they are here. And they will take on the rugged Utah Jazz with Karl Malone and John Stockton. But beware the road team, because in the 3 games completed already, 2 road team wins to begin these 2003 NBA playoffs. That's coming up next, right here on TNT.
Well, I like Sacramento as the best team in the West, and I think they've been through a lot, being eliminated by the Lakers in Game 7s, and I think they're the best team in basketball right now. But Utah, they're just professionals. I love what Jerry Sloan's done. I think he's the best coach, or has done the best coaching job in the NBA this year, with those old guys that are just keep getting it done, and with Harpring coming in as maybe the most improved, and Kirilenko maybe the 6th man of the year. That team is a team that could upset anybody.
I love all of the above, but beware of the Shaq man.
Raja Bell is checked in for Dallas with Van Exel, Nowitzki, Adrian Griffin, and Sean Bradley. As a screen was being set by Van Exel, a foul was called on Rasheed Wallace for the first time. The game was tied at 29, 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Portland has gone on an 18-7 run.
And how many teams run a point guard setting a screen and roll with the power forward coming off? But that's the versatility. But somebody else better step it up. They're 6 for 26. Everybody except for Nowitzki shooting 23%. And he's got to get some help. Van Exel, Nash, Finley, where are you guys?
Finley right now is on the bench, 0 of 6. Nash, 2 of 8. Shot clock at 6. Van Exel will feed to Nowitzki, who is 10 of 13 shooting. Wallace on him. Rebound by Dale Davis. Back in the game for the Blazers with Stoudemire, McGinnis. They got Patterson and Wallace out there for Portland.
Man, you gotta love Portland's defense. They've only allowed Dallas to get to the free throw line 1 time in this game.
A lot of confusion on Dallas' part that time defensively.
Jeff McGinnis, his first playoffs again, nailing an outside shot. He's got 6 points, 3 of 4 shooting in 10 minutes off the bench. Damon Stoudemire, John, off the bench. All his 10 points in the second quarter.
And they're tough, Kevin, when they can hit the outside shots because they're so physical inside when they need to go.
Nice 3-point hit from outside. Nick Van Exel.
And a little confusion right there on the Portland defense, but that's big. They got to get someone else going offensively other than Nowitzki.
Rebound, Dale Davis. Rasheed Wallace and a foul on Dallas inside. It's been a terrific night in these playoffs for Dirk Nowitzki. 23 points in 22 minutes.
You see Alvin Nash's scrambling and improvisation right there. He's the beneficiary of Nash's penetration. But right there, just catch and shoot. Bonzi, you got to know better than that. You got to get up into his face. He scores in so many different ways. He's a beautiful thing to watch. Adrian Griffin just picked up his first foul for Dallas, as you see the Dallas scoring right there with Nowitzki on top.
Well, the interesting thing about Nowitzki is the fact that he's left open so many times on the court. A lot of times the switching has resulted in screening and popping, but a guy that shoots the ball that well, it is just amazing to me how many free shots he gets, and that's a testimony to his movement and slide.
Free throw shooting tonight. Portland 5 of 11. Wallace 1 of 3. Dallas 1 of 1 from the line.
And also it's a testament to the great penetrating ability and offensive abilities of his point guards that create so much attention as he sets screens for him.
The Portland Trail Blazers have led by as many as 13. They trailed by as many as 9 in the opening minutes of the game. It's Bradley finding Nowitzki. Dallas shooting 41%. Oh, Nowitzki hit hard as he fired in a foul. Wallace was right there and may have shoved him. He did, his second personal foul. 1:38 to play here in this second quarter.
Nelly complaining over there. He thinks that Dirk got that shot off in time. Steve Jabby not going for it. Dirk bumped him in the chest, drew the contact, and then tried to throw the shot out.
Wallace the only Trailblazer in foul trouble with 2. 3 Mavericks had 2 fouls apiece. Nowitzki, LaFrentz, and Bradley. Shot clock at 3 for Dirk Nowitzki, working on Ruben Patterson. Rebound by Patterson. Rebounding edge plus 11 on the glass for Portland.
Patterson would touch him a lot more than Rasheed did. He'll bump it, but yet he can get over the top of Patterson much easier because of his length.
Well, so far, 2 of the open shots he's had littler guys on him and just shot them over. Sometimes, I know as a shooter, I always liked having I hated those little guys into your back.
Damon Stoudemire's on fire in this second quarter. All 13 of his points in the second period. He's played every second. Van Exel down the lane, and he hits. So we're seeing some guys off the bench with some big performances. Van Exel with all 7 Dallas bench points so far.
And these are guys that have done it before, with the exception of McGinnis. McGinnis has given him big minutes in the second quarter. But McGinnis is one of those guys, he's made so many big shots in his career, and he's never been afraid.
That's a Dale Davis foul. And now he has 2.
Good play by Sean Bradley right there. He's done a little bit of everything on the defensive end. They really missed him while he was resting on the bench.
Log on to the special NBA.com playoff section throughout the postseason for history, news, features, and series breakdowns. That's only on NBA.com or on AOL, keyword NBA.com. Nash comes back in. Davis leaves. Scottie Pippen has come back in for the Portland Trail Blazers. Well, guys, we saw Dallas with a quick 9-point lead. That is gone. A 13-point lead at one time for the Blazers. What do you make of this first half as Van Exel launches and misses a 3?
Well, I think Dallas came out very aggressively, particularly defensively, but Portland answered them. They didn't get all upset and fall apart. And they obviously did a lot of attacking inside.
6 seconds, the difference between the game clock and the big clock. The bench of Portland has been absolutely magnificent in this first half. And Stoudemire has led the way, grinding his way with that shot. Rebound by Rajavel. Seconds remain in the half. Van Exel will try to beat the buzzer. Weaving inside, and a foul with .9 on the first half clock. That goes on Stoudemire for the first time.
Van Exel's so good in the open court. He's so herky-jerky and changes his body direction. Right there, good job. I don't see any contact right there. He did everything he could to avoid the contact of Stoudemire.
And you knew he had a one-track mind. He had his mind on going down there to score, not to pass.
Surprise at halftime is on deck in Atlanta. We'll take you there in less than a second of game time here in Dallas. Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet, Sir Charles. Is Magic Johnson in studio tonight? I believe he is.
I don't know, but look, who's this? Will Chamberlain shooting his free throw? Look where Nick Van Exel shoots his free throws from. He thinks he gets a 1.5 points.
Hey, Danny, what about the Portland bench? They are 10 of 16 from the field, 25 points, led by Stoudemire's great performance off the bench.
Well, and that's their strength. I mean, they have good bench players, and these bench players a lot of times have come in and played better, but the starters played well also. Bonzi Wells gave him a great start, and so did Rasheed Wallace.
Well, in particular, Stoudemire, because he has every reason to have been discouraged, and he's kept his confidence. Mo Cheeks even complimented him today about that.
A 10-point lead is what the Portland Trail Blazers will take to halftime here in Dallas over the Mavericks. And let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Damon, you've been through it all this year. You've started, you've been a sub, you've been neglected. What did you think your role was going to be tonight? What did you try to accomplish?
I didn't know what my role was going to be, but in my mind is to come in and be aggressive, try to make things happen. You know, I want to stay on the floor, I want to play. But, you know, that's the only way for me to play is if I'm aggressive. If I go out there passive, then nothing's going to happen for me.
You said you didn't know what your role was going to be, yet you came over here 3 hours before everybody else, didn't even ride the team bus. What were you trying to do?
Nothing. That's what I've been doing all year. You know, just staying in shape, staying ready for when I get that call, because I never know when I'm going to get that call, so it's always important just to stay ready.
He got the call, and he answered with 13 first-half points. Back to you, Kevin.
He was terrific, Craig. I'll tell you what, come playoff time, it gets physical on the court, with bodies bouncing off each other and hitting the floor hard. That's the kind of series we've got between the 3rd seed Dallas Mavericks and the 6th seed Portland Trail Blazers. Great night here in Dallas, great night in the NBA as we send you off to Atlanta and Ernie Johnson. Playoffs on TNT from Big D. We're in Dallas, the sold-out American Airlines Center. That is our score. Portland by 10 at halftime. Coming into this game, coming into this series, the message was crystal clear for the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, I think, you know, the bottom line for our team's success in this playoffs will be to play well. If we play well, I think we can beat anybody. But, you know, if we come out tonight and don't play well, and in particularly don't rebound and don't match their physicality, you know, it could be a long night for us. So we're going to have to be really physical from the start.
Rebounding so far in our Jeep halftime statistics shows a plus 11 rebounding advantage for the Portland Trail Blazers. They're shooting better, 55 to 41%. Kevin Harlan with Danny Ainge and John Thompson. And guys, somewhat of a surprise so far, would you say?
Well, you know, he's mentioned the physicality and the rebounding. Early in the game, 27-25, we mentioned Dallas had a 6-0 second chance points advantage. From that point on, 10-0 in Portland in the second quarter. Their bench came in and just dominated the boards and the physicality of the game.
Well, and I think Dallas was doing something they weren't accustomed to doing, and we indicated the fact that they have to remain consistent. When people put a tag on you that you're soft under the boards and defensively, you tend to exaggerate your effort, but it doesn't last long.
And it didn't last long.
That's exactly right. Let's send you over to Craig Sager.
Well, to begin with, Dallas is not a great rebounding team, but they do average 41 a game, only 15 here at the half. Don Nelson told his team, you guys are being manhandled. Put a body on somebody. Be aggressive. Raise your level. Go outside of yourself if you have to. Meanwhile, offensively, he said they played well. We have not, but we're only down 10. He told Michael Finley to work hard to get some easy shots to try to get into a rhythm.
Greg, thank you. What is interesting about the depth of the Portland Trail Blazers, they have already played 10 tonight, 10 guys, and they've had 9 different scores. Only Derek Anderson, who started, has not scored. Bonzi Wells has 8. And there's Anderson, who has yet to score in the game. In fact, he has yet to take a shot. Rasheed Wallace has put in 12, but the 13 points by Damon Stoudemire leads the Portland Trail Blazers as we begin this second half. They're out there at Pippen, Davis, Wallace, Bonzi Wells, and Derek Anderson.
And they're going right at Nowitzki. They're trying to run a play. He has him isolated, but they want to post up Wallace on the outside. I don't know why. Just let Bonzi go right by Nowitzki like he did right there.
Wells gets it, fresh 24 on the shot clock.
You said earlier that Nowitzki was not built for defense. I want you to explain that to me sometime.
Well, his feet don't work for whatever reason.
He has offensive feet.
It's Rasheed Wallace with the miss. Rebound by Nash out there with Finley, LaFrentz, Bradley, and Nowitzki. Bradley. Michael Finley has gone 0 of 6 thus far from the floor as a starter. 3-second violation. It's inside. It's on court.
Well, and this is what happens. Don gave them the instructions to be strong, to be physical because of their reputation. And you tend to over-exaggerate. You got to be careful because you'll get in foul trouble. But the thing is not just physicality. It's a conscientious effort to rebound, get into position, and do it on a consistent basis.
So the free throws because of the 3-second violation defensively against the Portland Trail Blazers, who have led by as many as 13. Dallas has led by as many as 9.
I just think Dirk Nowitzki must have grown early as a child, and in his brain, I think he thinks he's 6'4". He just stopped.
Scottie Pippen just picked up a foul. What about your brain? What about his brain, John? Is it?
I always thought I was like 6'9". I could go post up.
2 fouls now on Scottie Pippen. Right against the face. Michael Finley isolating on Pippen and backs his way to the baseline. Hits his first shot tonight, 1 of 7.
And they've got to do something to get him involved because he's very tentative. He's been out. You got to go to him. Let him make some mistakes. Probably should have been done much earlier than now, but he can play, and we all know that.
Oh, and Scottie Pippen looked very sore and rusty trying to defend Michael Finley on that play. He might just tear his knee up and trying to cover Michael's crossover.
Those old bones get cold at halftime.
Here's Pippen again, slashing down low. Picked up by Bradley. Dallas needs a spark. Maybe it's Nash, maybe it's Finley. Inside for LaFrentz, who lost the ball, and Dale Davis is there to gobble it up. It's Bonzi Wells. Anderson yet to take a shot. Good screen from Davis. Rebound Nowitzki.
See, now it'd be interesting to see whether Portland can sustain the focus that they had because they're known for getting distracted a little bit out there.
Here comes Finley. Another defensive 3-second violation on the Blazers. Their second. That means another technical shot and possession. Guys, what about Portland's defense in the first half?
I thought they did a great job. They kept them off the free throw line. They made him shoot a poor percentage, only 40% overall, and that's a good combination. And other than Nowitzki, Van Exel got hot there at the end of the second quarter. They did a good job of shutting everybody else down.
Well, and really, if you flipped it and looked at Dallas's defense too, Bradley is not the culprit because he's done a heck of a job, but he didn't bring any company with him.
Nash just hit that free throw, and here he dishes off to Nowitzki for 3. Way off. Wells with another rebound. Blazers come the other way, shooting 50% from the floor. But Portland has gone 0-4 in this third quarter.
Scottie Pippen does not look the same. And, I got to see, you got to watch him play, see if as time goes on, he starts getting a little bit warmed up.
Wallace finally hits.
And that was a beautiful shot, too, because Dirk was right there with him, and Dirk is big and long also.
Dallas the other way, shooting 41% from the field. Nash, 2 of 8. Finley, 1 of 7.
What Portland's got to do right now is you can't let Dirk get on a big run because he's capable of getting this team fired up.
Nowitzki, all kinds of congestion. Nice feed to LaFrentz inside. And counted for 2 and a foul on the Blazers. And LaFrentz has 4. And the foul goes on Pippen for a 3rd time.
Well, this is a good job of keep moving right there. Rafe just does a good job. He knew Nowitzki was up in the air and was in trouble, so he moved while he was in the air, got the easy lay-in.
Which is so important to a good passer is to have great cutters. A lot of times guys stand around watch a person when they get doubled or triple teamed. If you make a cut, you can make the defense pay for that triple team.
And usually Nowitzki will only see you if you're around the basket.
Because that's where he's looking to shoot.
Timeout Blazers. They've led by 13. Portland is trailed by as many as 9. They are winning the battle of the glass. They led by 10 at halftime, but their lead
Ernie Johnson in Studio A in Atlanta. Not only did the Milwaukee Bucks lose their playoff opener in New Jersey today, but just hours after that game, Gary Payton, Sam Cassell, and Jason Caffey surrendered to Toronto police in connection with an alleged assault outside a Toronto strip club a little over a week ago. All three players were released and are scheduled to appear in a Toronto court on May 30th. Now back to Dallas.
EJ, thank you. Milwaukee was just blasted by New Jersey, the defending Eastern Conference champions, 109-96. Gary Payton was horrible today. Martin was terrific. This was the game that led to two dramatic upsets by visiting teams. Boston, first of all, beats Indiana by 3. Paul Pierce was dazzling. And Stephon Marbury, the same for Phoenix, the road team at top seed San Antonio, winning by 1 with a buzzer-beating overtime shot. Craig?
We mentioned earlier that Don Nelson had lost his voice with laryngitis. He's lost it totally now. Donnie Nelson doing all the verbal reports. Meanwhile, Del Harris, another former head coach, also doing a lot of work replacing Don Nelson, who obviously cannot give any signals.
And they need instruction right now. The Blazers lead down to 5. No changes after the break. And that's a Derek Anderson 3. A rebound inside. Dale Davis rejected by Bradley once. Rejected by him twice. And a foul called inside.
Well, he shouldn't have been able to get the inside position, first of all. And then he just basically out-hustled him. They used their length to prevent him from scoring, but they ended up fouling the guy.
This was Yao Ming before there was Yao Ming, right, Danny? 1, 2.
I think Sean Bradley's actually a better defensive presence than Yao Ming. He's just not near the offensive player that Yao Ming is.
Well, and in this job, in this game, Bradley has been doing a great job. He just hasn't gotten support once he's committed to go pick up somebody else's man.
I always felt he would be great next to another big, wide body, guy that was strong and powerful on the inside to support him, like you said.
Dale Davis, 1 of 1 from the line. Hit his first, missing the second. And now the Blazers have missed 5 of their last 6 free throws. With 8.5 to play in the third. Danny Ainge, John Thompson, and Craig Sager. Kevin Harlan from the Solon American Airlines Center in Dallas. Michael Finley, 1 of 7. Nowitzki has been the star with the game-high 23. Shot clock is down to 4. Nash, 2 of 8. Across the lane, LaFrance with 3. The rebound by Davis. 3-point shooting tonight. Dallas 4 of 13 above the arc.
And LaFrance just doesn't get that many touches. He goes for such long stretches without participating in the offense sometimes. I'm not sure if it's a fault of his own or not. Watching him over time, there's some games he's involved and some games he's not.
Rasheed Wallace, that's a nice screen for Wells, who has 10.
Well, and also Dallas has no inside post-up game at all. They'll get something off of a pick and roll, sometimes off of a penetration and pitch, but nobody can actually get on the block and receive a pass and become effective.
It's Nowitzki, tricked with Portland defenders and out of bounds, and 6 seconds on the shot clock. As Portland's lead is back up now. Defensive rebounds 11, managed defensive offensive rebounds for the Portland Trail Blazers, 11 defensive rebounds for Dallas, 14.
And the Mavs came out and were good in that stat for the first 8 or 9 minutes of the game, and from that time they've just been dominated on the inside.
You see, because they gravitated back towards what they usually do. The coach has probably been hopping on them and fussing. Everybody's talking about how soft they are in the middle. They showed that they could do it, but they also have shown that they don't want to do it because they're capable of doing it.
Wells has some blood on that ring finger, and here's how it happened, we think. Yep. Slap inside. Rebounding still very much in favor of the Portland Trail Blazers. They are plus 12 in rebounding. And if you read the Dallas papers all this week when they found out they were going to take on Portland, it was all about rebounding and how that was such a huge factor in the 4 games played earlier this season between these two teams, and it's been a factor tonight.
And it will continue to be a factor too, but they've got to consistently do it.
Nowitzki. Bradley fighting for the ball, out of bounds it goes. And Rasheed Wallace comes down and is now holding on to his left ankle and hobbles, as you can see, up to his feet.
Good job by getting up and running up and down the court right there. So he's got to get back in the play, but Rasheed just came down on someone's ankle. Good thing he's got tape or braces on, you can see.
Well, that's bad news if he's seriously hurt inside.
22nd timeout taken by Portland, leading by 8 points over Dallas.
As he goes up right there, looks like he comes right down on Nowitzki's ankle right there. That hurts, but he didn't do it really bad. I think they'll be able to finish out this game.
Wallace is going to go to the locker room, and he is, as you can see, on his way through the crowd. And Jay Jensen, their athletic trainer, will go over and retape him. Coming up next on TNT, the Utah Jazz back in the playoffs again against the Sacramento Kings. And isn't it poignant, guys, that when Sacramento cracked the playoff barrier a couple years ago, they took on Utah in what was a thrilling 5-game playoffs a handful of years ago.
And that was a tough, hard-fought battle for Sacramento to get over them, and it will still be. And I really want to watch that series. This might be John Stockton's last. You know, there's so much talk about Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan obviously is the best player of all time. But John Stockton, maybe the best pure point guard that's ever lived, maybe playing his last playoff series. You never know.
Dale Davis was trying to swipe that loose ball away, and he knocked Bradley down and whacked his head, and a foul called on Dale Davis for the 3rd time.
Well, Sean Bradley has not backed away. He's not strong, but he's not backed away from any of the tough. Right there, wham!
Wow, that hurt watching it.
You hit him on the head, he's okay. Never worry about the head. The other parts of the body.
That's right. For the free throw line tonight, Dallas 6 of 7, and Portland 6 of 14.
Very seldom does a guy that gets hit on the head go back to the locker room the way Rasheed.
Arvydas Sabonis is coming to take the place of Rasheed Wallace. Our Craig Sager is on that as they retake Wallace. We'll find out about his availability moments from now. Pippen, Anderson, Sabonis.
That's one thing about the Portland team. I mean, they were 5-2 without Rasheed Wallace at a crucial time of the season, and they can go on and play without any of their players. Not one player they can't do without with all their depth.
Sabonis missing, tapped up and in by Ponzi Wells, sneaking in, tapping it through, and Wells now has 12 points. Wallace has 14, and the Blazers again lead by 8.
And that's what Nelly's mad about. That's another offensive rebound. You play good defense, the team misses, and then somebody sneaks underneath. You just got to find somebody and touch them.
Well, and that again, that's Nowitzki's matchup. And Nowitzki, every point that Bonzi Wells has scored tonight has been on that matchup with Nowitzki.
Nowitzki with another miss. He is 10 of 18, but he's got a game high 23. Pippen, threats a pass inside to Wells and a foul. That was a sweet pass on the fly by Scottie Pippen.
Someone's got to find Bonzi Wells right here. As he goes down to the basket, you see Nowitzki, he just loses track of him and he thinks that the play's over. Someone else is going to get the rebound.
That's a 3rd foul on Rafe LaFrentz.
That's what guards do. That's what guards do, not 7-footers.
Well, he's a tremendous offensive ball player. There's no question about that. But he's equally as bad on defense as he is as good on offense.
Look at the offensive rebounding by the Blazers, the defensive rebounding by the Mavs. Wells again.
There's no way your offensive rebounds should be that close to the defensive rebounds that they have.
So Wells hits one free throw, 9-point Portland lead. They've been up by as many as 13. Portland is trailed by as many as 9. Nowitzki again. A game high 25 for Dirk Nowitzki. 3-point shooting tonight. Dallas 4 of 13. Portland 3 of 8.
Portland has remained poised. That's the thing that you always have to question about them. At what point will they get so upset or get distracted? But they've stayed focused in this ball game so far, at least.
Derek Anderson is 0 of 3, scoreless. Nash over Sabonis. It resulted probably in a rebound by Dale Davis. And Davis tonight has collected 10 rebounds with his 5 points.
He came to go to work because he's definitely doing a good job interior in that defense.
You know, Dallas has to feel pretty good about the way things are going. I mean, Nash and Finley are 3 for 16. And, you know, they need one of those guys to go off. Van Exel's going to come in and have a big 4th quarter for him, but they need some offensive production out of those guys.
Finley with his first rebound. Here's Nowitzki. And a foul. Bonzi Wells will pick up his 2nd foul for the Portland Trail Blazers.
Well, right there, they go for the steal. They hustle back into play. They're coming over to help him. But Nowitzki just gets the ball and shoots it over 4 guys. And, hey, if there's 3 guys on me, even if I miss, somebody should get the rebound.
And he also has great footwork on offense. That's the thing that's so puzzling about how awful he is on defense. On offense, he moves extremely well for somebody that size or any other size.
John, is he one of the most amazing big players you've ever seen?
Well, offensively, he definitely is. He's a beautiful player to see offensively because of all the things that he can do, you know, and how poised he is in his timing. But he's an enigma as far as defense is concerned because, as I said, his agility only applies to one end of the court.
Finley and LaFrentz are out. Nick Van Exel has checked in with Eduardo Najera, joining Nowitzki, Bradley, and Steve Nash. That's the Dallas 5. Wells, Anderson, Davis, Pippen, and Sabonis. Wallace getting retaped in the Portland locker room. Here's Scottie Pippen, bad leg and all, into Sabonis, doubled and blocked inside by Bradley. Picked up by Najera. Here comes Nash. This is Dallas's game with Van Exel launching a three. Rebound, Bonzi Wells vacuums in the loose ball.
They went inside to Sabonis. Sabonis is shooting that hook shot like a little guy. He's got to drop his shoulder and go in there strong.
And Sabonis held by Najera, who held him and fouled him. And Najera picks up his second personal foul. Blazers at halftime led by 10. Stoudemire comes in, taking the place of what has been so far an ineffective performance from starter Derek Anderson. 19 minutes, no points, 1 rebound, no assists. Stoudemire, Danny, on the other hand, all 12 minutes of the second quarter and 13 points.
Well, I think Derek Anderson's playing a lot better than Scottie Pippen right now. Scottie Pippen is getting beat on defense. Derek Anderson's just not getting involved in the offense simply because of the matchups at other positions.
Pippen has only taken 2 shots. Stoudemire has shot every time he's got the ball. That will not trickle in. Rebound by Dirk Nowitzki, his 6th rebound of the game. Nash against Stoudemire. Bradley. Nowitzki inside from Bradley. And a foul. He was hacked hard and fouled by Bonzi Wells inside the lane.
That was a beautiful play on Nowitzki's part in setting himself up. They were trying to front him, as you can see. He held a man behind him. They rotated the ball to the high post, and he took advantage of his size and went in. But he was smart enough to hold that position and not panic.
That was a good play by Sean Bradley, too. At 7'6", it's tough to contest that pass.
Especially to another 7-footer.
If you take a look, we're going to try to get a shot here with our director, Lonnie Dale, on the right bicep of Nowitzki. As his first free throw, he got a little bit of blood.
What bicep?
He's got a bicep. And there's a scratch right there. And Dirk asked, should we go have that taken care of? And Ron Elysiak said, no, let's go ahead and shoot.
I'm kind of sick of this blood breaks that we have in here. You know, go back to the old days.
That's not blood. Hey, when someone bites you, then you get a break.
Well, you should know about that.
Someone almost bites your finger off, then you deserve a timeout.
You trying to say Danny was a vampire?
Oh, Danny got bit by a vampire.
All right, a 10-point deficit for Dallas at halftime. They have chopped it down to a 3-point deficit as Dallas has gone on a 6-0 run. Nowitzki, easily the most popular Dallas Maverick, has got a game-high 29 points, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. It's 60-57 Dallas trailing Portland with 4:11 to play. And here is how the series will go. Game 2 here Wednesday. Portland is going to fly home to the Pacific Northwest after the game. And then up in Portland for a couple games next weekend, Friday and Sunday. That's the way this series looks. Rasheed Wallace has come back out onto the bench. He has yet, though, to come back out onto the floor.
That's one of those things. You got to get back out on the floor pretty quick.
Or to get cold.
The longer you sit down, it's going to be tougher to get him to get back in the groove. And I think Maurice Cheeks knows that. He's had those before. He's getting Rasheed right back in the game.
Neither team makes a change at the break. Approaching 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Portland is shooting 46%. Sabonis curls and corkscrews up on Bradley in a foul.
Well, that was a better move. That time Sabonis attacked the basket as opposed to shooting that little fadeaway hook without jumping off the floor. His body size will enable him to get that kind of good shot.
That was Bradley's 4th personal foul for the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, see, and that was better. He went to the glass with it, and his width creates a problem because you can see how narrow Sean Bradley is right here. Anytime Sabonis makes a full turn or pivot into the basket, Bradley's going to have a problem if he has contact with it.
Bradley is checked out. They brought back in LaFrance, and Nash is out. Finley back in the game for Dallas. First free throw is in by Sabonis, who was retired last year.
I still didn't see a foul right there. So Sabonis' turn. I saw Bradley just get a piece of the ball.
And that's why he's got to go to the basket because of his size and all. It'll look like a foul even if it's not one.
Dallas shooting 39%. Davis fouling. LaFrance inside. Dale Davis picks up his fourth. He's got the most fouls of any Blazer. 4 on Bradley. For Dallas leads the Mavericks in that category. Greg Sager, what'd you find out?
Rasheed Wallace spent more time in the locker room than just getting taped. Remember, in the playoffs, your team doctors get to travel with the team, so the orthopedic doctor, Don Roberts, examined the ankle. Yes, it is sprained, but did not appear to have any ligament damage. Then they retaped it. They told him to walk it off, and he felt okay. He continued.
Well, see, that's the thing about bringing all those doctors and staff with you. They have to create a need for themselves to take you back in the back. And now the orthopedic doctor is now checking the bones back there.
Yeah, just tape it. Let's go.
Checking the bones.
Hey, I mean, if you bring the guy along, he's got to justify his traveling with the team.
And they don't play till Wednesday. Tape it up. Let's go.
Like they did in the old school days.
Dallas has been great from the free throw line tonight. 13 of 14. So Wallace back in the game. And it gets the entry pass from Pippen. Across the lane against LaFrance. Rebound Finley. Dallas is shooting 39%. Here they come.
And the crowd is feeling it right here. Chance to take the lead.
Van Exel. And picked up by Wallace. Portland has missed their last 5, and here they come with Wells to Pippen, who is 1 of 2. A little hesitation. He's 1 of 3.
Very tentative he was on that shot.
8 rebounds by Nowitzki. And a 3 by Nowitzki. Dallas has recaptured the lead. Dallas hasn't led since 27-25. Wells got Nowitzki to fall, and a foul on R1G1. And the Portland Trail Blazers commit their first turnover of this third quarter. Wells has 4 fouls tonight.
We got to give Nowitzki credit right here. He anticipates the drive right there. Does a good job of stopping the penetration. And right here, just pushes it up. This is great having a 7-footer that can dribble the ball up the court. You better pick him up. He just passed up a shot the last time. He's not going to pass up 2 in a row.
The Dallas Mavericks are back in business after being...
A tremendous day in the NBA to open up the playoffs. We had 40 points by Paul Pierce, a come from behind win by the Celtics. We had a buzzer beater in overtime by Stephon Marbury. And here in Dallas, we have a 1-point game. The Dallas Mavericks leading. With me, Commissioner David Stern. Your thoughts? Just a terrific day to start.
It's a great day. One of the reasons we thought that 4 out of 7 was appropriate is that the gap between 1 and 8 had narrowed considerably. And I guess today's events are showing that.
There's so many great games. Why'd you pick this one today?
I haven't been to a game in Dallas this year. I didn't want Mark Cuban to think I was picking on him.
A lot of changeovers from past years. No Bulls in this, no Knicks, no Miami. Is that good?
Sure, it's good. It's good because the draft and management and things change. And that's the way it's supposed to be.
Where will you be tomorrow?
Minnesota.
I'll see you there.
Okay.
Kevin?
All right, Greg, thank you. First foul has just been put on Zach Randolph, who is checked in, joining Wallace Stoudemire, Ruben Patterson in the game, and Jeff McGinnis, who gave them great minutes in the first half off the bench.
Well, this is the energized bunch right here. You know, Derek Anderson, I think, is one of the best players on this Portland team. Hasn't got a chance to get in his rhythm. Scotty is not anywhere near his self. You can see he's rusty, much more so even than Michael Finley, just his body movement. And he has been very ineffective in this game.
Well, and Patterson's one of those guys who'll get in there. He'll make the game ragged. He'll get in the midst of a lot of things. That's a good move on Mo's part, too, in putting these guys in. These are the guys that you see will get in here and really Randolph, a guy, bang, push and shove.
Dallas is on a 12-1 run. They are 14 of 16 from the free throw line. The Blazers have missed 10 free throws themselves. 8 of 18 for Portland from the stripe. Portland no field goals in the last 4+ minutes. Stoudemire trying to squeeze one inside. Randolph covered. It's Patterson across the lane. 4 to shoot. Over Nowitzki. And LaFrance is there with the rebound for Dallas, his 3rd of the game. Finley, who is 1 of 7. That's a charge on Michael Finley.
Well, he still doesn't have his timing. You can tell he's very tentative with most of the things he's doing. He's not reacting. He's thinking on everything. That comes from sitting out.
You know, that's not much of a bump right there. Michael likes to bump to create space for a shot, but Jeff McGinnis got inside of Michael's head right there and anticipated that move.
Here's Wallace. You just saw that rebounding number. Damon Stoudemire. Rebound by Nowitzki. Dallas is now single-digit deficit in rebounding. They're down by 8 in that category. Finley for 3, and he nails it. Michael Finley.
And I like that. He came right back. That's the old Michael Finley right there. Just not even thinking, just taking the shot, no hesitation.
Minute and a half to play in this 3rd quarter. Jeff McGinnis.
A few more of those, and Michael will be right back to himself.
Portland has had a horrible 3rd quarter shooting. Nice defense by Nowitzki. Stoudemire, and they blow it. There was a second on the shot clock. And a foul on the play.
No, I think that they said...
I'll reset the shot clock.
Why would they reset the shot clock in the middle of a shot attempt?
Particularly, man is wide open.
The guy's who cares if the shot clock's not set? The guy was wide open for the shot. Let it finish.
The shot clock now is at 23. Portland will inbound. Portland has missed their last 9 shots. We told you they are 3 of 18 shooting in this 3rd quarter.
It worked out good for Portland simply because he ended up missing the shot.
It's McGinnis.
Portland's got to get some kind of inside attack going against this zone because they're not hitting outside well.
Wallace for 3.
Hitting that something. The biggest guy on the floor, he goes out and starts to hit the shot.
2-point game, under a minute to play in the 3rd. Blazers have gone almost 6 minutes without a hit from the field. Look at the mismatch now. Stoudemire and Nowitzki, and then Wallace came in to help and double and poked it away with 8 on the shot clock.
And that's the problem that Nowitzki creates right there. They run a pick and roll, and they're trying to switch to pick and rolls, but that time Stoudemire's guarding the man being screened, so Stoudemire is defending the 7-footer, and then you have to double team.
No fouls to give either way. And that is a shot by Nowitzki and a foul on Wells.
They were doing a good job in the first half not to put him on the free throw line. And right now in the 3rd quarter, this is one thing they're able to do is get to the free throw line. And that's 2 fouls in a row. And Nowitzki in terrible fouls, just giving him 4 points.
Well, he made a great move of faking because Randolph had his back turned and acted as if he was catching the ball. Randolph went up in the air and he cut to the corner. He really moves extremely well.
Nowitzki 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 34 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. The 34 Nowitzki has put in. 11 have been coming to him in this 3rd quarter.
It's amazing. We're almost at the end of the 3rd quarter, and he's the only Maverick in double figures. Very uncommon for this team with a wide variety of scores.
Dallas by 4. Wallace with 17. That is a Portland high. Nice move by Patterson across the lane. And tipped away by Nahara. That would have been goaltending.
Ball was on the rim.
Ball was on the rim.
Definitely on the rim.
How can you not see that? It was going to come out.
It was.
The ball was on the rim.
Final seconds. Finley guarded by McGinnis.
Finley likes to go left for the jump shot.
Here he goes, trying to beat the buzzer. Ties! Michael Finley right between the eyes. Michael Finley puts in all 7 of his points tonight in a great Dallas 3rd quarter.
You got to give Don Nelson credit for letting him go a little bit so that he can get acclimated and get loose out there because he's been up for tentative.
That ball is hanging on the rim when Nahara tipped it away. Should have been 2.
It was coming out, but there's Michael Finley. That's a scouting report. Likes to go left, one dribble, pull up, shoot the fadeaway jump shot. But you know what? He doesn't have any choice but to let Michael Finley. They can't go anywhere without him.
At the end of 3, Dallas by 6. These are the playoffs on TNT. A couple guys not from Texas are leading the way for the Dallas Mavericks, as they have all season long. The 35 points of Dirk Nowitzki. Finley had a 7-point third quarter, including a buzzer beater. And Steve Nash picking up his game in the second half with a gorgeous picture of downtown Dallas. With Danny Ainge, John Thompson, and Craig Sager. This is Kevin Harlan, the sold-out American Airlines Center in Big D. We start the fourth quarter. Van Exel in there with Finley, Nahara, LaFrance, and Nowitzki for the Mavericks. Dallas is led by as many as 9. Portland is led by as many as 13. A nice steal by Damon Stoudemire with Wallace, Randolph, Jeff McGinnis, and Ruben Patterson to begin the fourth quarter. We go to Randolph, quickly double. Here's Wallace. Another 3. They have been altered by Nowitzki, rebound by Finley.
They're just taking him out of the inside game with a quick double team, forcing the Blazers to shoot on the perimeter. They couldn't get anything when they had numbers there off the steal.
Oh, Michael Finley is warming up. He's at 2 consecutive shots.
See, and that's bad news, very bad news for Portland. What Portland's got to do, though, even though they run, they've got to be patient and still look for an option inside, because that's where Dallas is soft. You can't get in a jump shooting contest with these guys.
McGinnis with the miss. Dallas is tied their biggest lead tonight. There's a foul on Portland with a shove inside. McGinnis was going for the loose ball, and he picks up his first personal foul. Horse Don Nelson.
Maybe Horse, but he's really briefed up on his finger and arm and facial expression.
Yes, he has.
And their defense, you got to give them credit. Their defense has been excellent in the third quarter, holding this Portland team to 12 points. That's amazing. I don't think Portland is playing very smart offensive basketball right now.
Not at all.
3-on-2. McGinnis, Stoudemire slithering off inside. Patterson the rebound. Hampton fouled, and Van Exel shoving Patterson. Patterson and Van Exel, both from the University of Cincinnati, and both at one time former Laker teammates. Couple of Bearcats going head-to-head.
Well, looking at that, Van Exel overreacted. Patterson is normally very aggressive, but I didn't see him do anything that was out of the ordinary.
Technical foul on Van Exel. And here's Stoudemire. Portland has missed 10 free throws. Dallas has missed 2. Both teams have taken 18 shots from the free throw line. That's number 19 right there by the Blazers.
And the thing that Portland has to do is still push the ball down the court. If it's not there, don't take the quick shot like Dallas does at the other end, because Dallas has a lot more weapons than they have that they're very capable of doing that. Work the ball and get it inside. That option's not there. Late in the clock, look for the jump shot.
And Patterson, who is a 63% free throw shooter.
Put a warrior on the board.
Yep. They better box him out, because I don't think he believes he's going to make these free throws. He's going in after the rebound.
That's what he did the last time. Just threw it up and went after it. Be interesting to see how Portland responds now to these circumstances.
Here comes Dallas. They're shooting 43% from the field. Portland is shooting 40% from the floor. Michael Finley again. Oh, he's on fire! Michael Finley has put in 12 second-half points.
Uh-oh, that's not what Maurice Cheeks wanted to see. He wanted to at least let Michael Finley go a little longer in his slump or the rustiness, but Michael looks good. His body looks good. He's moving fresh. He's active on defense.
And Randolph inside with a good feed from Wallace.
Well, that's what I want to see them do. They've got to definitely continue to attack inside. Don't panic right now. There's a lot of time left in this ball game, but one thing they've got to do is defend at the other end.
Good ball pressure right there, Wall, so they can't throw the ball to an easy target over to Nowitzki.
Van Exel. Here's Nowitzki, shot clock at 2. Rebound by Rafe LaFrance. He's got 4 rebounds. That is a Portland foul. And they assess it inside on Zach Randolph.
Good job by Zach Randolph cutting without the ball, creating space. He just posts up off of the post up right here. And a good job by Wallace. He's got the sore ankle. I would have to make him see if he can move and spin off me, make him shoot that fadeaway shot with that bad ankle.
And I like Patterson a lot more guarding Nowitzki because I think he really harasses him, beats him, pushes him a lot more than anybody.
Van Exel against McGinnis.
I personally really like Derek Anderson in this game. I think he's a fantastic player, and he hasn't had a chance. His body looks fresh and energized.
What about the rebounding, guys? It was in double digits most of the game now. Portland's rebounding edge on the glass, only 6+6.
You know, and Nelly charged his team at halftime.
Wow, what a play by Stoudemire.
Great play, and that's why they've got to penetrate. They've got to penetrate and attack, particularly early in the clock. Then if it's not there, go to those jump shots.
Nowitzki. He's stuck on 35.
Nelly challenged his team at halftime for an out-of-body experience, you know, to be aggressive, but they were just being manhandled. They came out in the third quarter and responded physically.
Nice shot by Jeff McGinnis. And he now has 8 points and 4 assists.
And this is a good sign, Kevin, for Portland. They didn't fold. They kept coming back at him.
Good point.
This is the playoffs. You can't fold.
Moments ago, Dallas led by 9. After this dazzling acrobatic shot by Stoudemire, the Blazers now down by 2.
Loose in the Sacramento locker room before Game 1 against Utah. That is Chris Webber, 1988, Detroit Country Day High School. And we hear he has been getting intense grief about the length of those shorts, which they're kind of Danny Ainge length. Kev?
Yeah. You'll need a picture-perfect performance from Webber in this series as he battles Karl Malone. Utah and the Sacramento Kings coming up next from Sacramento here on TNT. And then tomorrow night, one game and a beauty it is. The very underrated New Orleans Hornets at the 5 slot in the East against the 4th seed Philadelphia 76ers with Allen Iverson. That's tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern Time here on TNT.
I think that New Orleans team is going to be something to reckon with. Those guys are big, they're agile, they've got guys that can hit the boards well.
Danny, all 9 Portland points this quarter have come from the bench. They've got that 35-8 edge for the game over the Dallas bench.
And that bench did a great job in the first half as well. As Scottie Pippen and Derek Anderson haven't contributed offensively.
Nobody touches Nowitzki as he slashes inside for his 37th point.
Well, he is some offensive machine, though. I mean, he can score in so many different ways, and he's very quick offensively and moving and going to the basket as well as going up on his jump shot.
It's Pippen to Stoudemire and Nash on him.
This guy's been playing well, too. I think Stoudemire's done a great job the entire game for them.
Wallace launching a 3 with 2 seconds to shoot. And Rasheed Wallace now has 20. That is a Portland high.
Good execution. Both teams coming out of the timeouts. Nowitzki gets the lay-in of a perfectly designed play by Don Nelson, and that was great execution coming out and executing Maurice Cheeks' play.
Dallas has gone 7 of 17, shooting 3-point shots tonight. Is Nahara. Corkscrews up for 2. So 7 hits above the arc for Dallas, and the Portland Trailblazers job gone 5 of 11 3-point shooting.
And they're taking their time right now, trying to get the ball inside by cutting, by penetrating, or by passing it into the post, and that's smart, I think.
That was Nash's first foul right there for Dallas.
Good ball pressure right here, but the little screen right there, no help. Stoudemire, they're not used to doing that. Point guards aren't used to being the screeners on pick and rolls, and so they're not used to it. Good execution by Portland. Rasheed Wallace, we like him inside, but he has the versatility to do everything offensively. Not quite like Nowitzki, but close.
It's Scottie Pippen. And now Pippen tonight, 1 of 4, 3 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
He needed to get on track much earlier, very much the way they did Finley. Finley was struggling and he got involved. Now he's playing well.
Dirk Nowitzki nails another. He's got 40 points with that 3-point hit.
Well, what are they doing? They're not supposed to trap Michael Finley and leave Dirk Nowitzki. They either have to rotate to him or switch the screen and roll. I think the game plan has been to switch. That's what they've been doing most of the game.
Wallace with 22.
Well, and that's the foolishness because of what Nowinski is doing. Anytime guys are crossing, they're double teaming the guy and leaving him open. They almost did it that time. Now they switch, and you got Stoudemire on him. That's why he's setting that screen to force the switch.
And that's what they're supposed to do is switch. Now they got to go down and double on Nahara, and then you got all the shooters all around when you have to double Nahara.
That's a foul on Stoudemire, his second.
But look at this. They double him. Where's the rotation? Bad defensive execution. And now they have to go down and post up Nahara. When you have to double team Nahara and leave Rafe LaFrance, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, and Michael Finley open, then you're really in trouble.
Nash had it knocked away. 10 turnovers apiece. And another foul called on Damon Stoudemire. Just as nailed with the second. That's number 3.
You know, I don't like Scottie Pippen in this game right now, Coach. Just sitting here, I don't like the way he moves. I know he's got the mind and he's got the leadership and gets him in. But, you know, with that long thing on it, it's like Pippi Longstocking out there right now.
But a lot of what probably Mo has him out there for is to settle this team down. This team has been very fragile emotionally, as we said earlier. I agree with you that he hasn't been as what you would want him to be. He didn't get in the flow the way Finley struggled and got in the flow, but Pippen has an awful lot of experience.
Pippen, Wells, Stoudemire, Randolph with the screen.
Well, I like Scottie in the game at the end most of the time.
That's a nice play by Pippen.
And that's what he needs, a layup. One of those jumpers need to fall. Then his whole confidence level and his offense changes. But his mind is a very dangerous thing out there right now.
Pippen's got 5. There's Nowitzki, Nash. Nowitzki's 40 in playoff high in Dallas history. And now he's got 42. The old mark was 33 points by the great Rolando Blackman. Now the 42 of Dirk Nowitzki will be atop the record charts in the playoffs for Dallas.
And that's creating a fit for them because even if they double, they switch. If they switch, they have a mismatch in size. If they double, he's wide open.
Well, and right now, you can see the face, the grimacing of Pippen and Damon Stoudemire as they're trying to defend it.
Scottie Pippen for 3. Rebound by Michael Finley, who has come alive in the second half. Nash has not scored since late in the first quarter from the field.
And they just don't know what to do on this pick and roll right now. I mean, they're just torching it.
Nash inside.
Portland can't stop the pick and roll. Dallas is doing whatever they want. Nash and Nowitzki.
Steve Nash gets his first field goal since the final seconds of the first quarter. Dallas is led by as many as 9. Portland is led by as many as 13. And the Mavericks back in it with plays like this from the electrifying Steve Nash. It's Dallas by 7. You're watching the NBA playoffs on TNT. Points. We're back in Dallas. Time now for Bud Light's presentation of Danny Ainge's Caught My Eye.
Thanks, Kevin. The playoffs underway. Things catching my eye. Game 1s are important. Minnesota's tomorrow versus the Lakers is critical. Jamal Mashburn lasted 30 seconds in last year's playoff. Watch out for him this year. I picked the Nets to win the East. Why? Jason Kidd. You saw it today. Amidst a Pacer meltdown, Paul Pierce did a Reggie Miller imitation. And finally, Stephon Marbury's miracle shot against the Spurs. If this didn't catch your eye, nothing will.
That was a miraculous shot. You'll see Game 2 of that Phoenix-San Antonio series Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, right here on TNT. We're back in Dallas with Danny Ainge, John Thompson, Kevin Harlan, and Craig Sager.
Maybe the greater miracle shot was Amari Stoudemire hitting the three-pointer to put it into overtime.
Fonzie Wells, who's been very quiet in the second half. The Prince with the rebound, and now the Trailblazers only have a 5-rebound advantage over Dallas in the game.
And let's see how they defend the pick and roll now.
It's always extremely difficult when a big guy sets a screen for a little guy. If you have 2 people of the same size, it's an easy switch. If the switch is made when there's a mixture of size, it's always difficult.
Nahara had the mismatch on Stoudemire, but Rafe LaFrentz is the one who recognized it and lasers a pass inside.
Right, and that's just too easy. He just is taking Stoudemire and taking the little mouse down into the paint and torching him. They've got to change the lineup. They got to get Stoudemire out, put a bigger guard on him if they're going to switch that pick and roll.
Rasheed Wallace with 24.
Well, against that zone, they got inside and got something. The last possession, Dallas went to the zone and they started to take the outside shot. They still can get inside. That zone is very porous out there.
Dallas has hit 6 consecutive shots. Shot clock now at 5. Nowitzki got the defense to fall. Rebound by Bonzi Wells.
Well, you know, with this lineup, with Scottie Pippen as your starting point guard, Bonzi Wells could move to the 2, Ruben Patterson to 3, and then they could start playing Rasheed Wallace and Randolph, and they could switch all that pick and roll and not have any disadvantages.
Randolph just picked up his 3rd personal foul. No player in the game with 5 fouls for either team.
Nahara doing a good job. He anticipates the move, does a good job. And right here, Nahara sets the best screen of all of the Dallas big guys, but right now he's got Mighty Mouse down on the post. No weak side help, no time to come over. Beautiful entry pass by LaFrentz out of the corner.
Here comes Dallas shooting 47%. First time all night long they've shot better than the Blazers. Nash. Pippen did a good job on Nowitzki. Here they are again.
But fighting his way through, and then the switch didn't have to occur.
Nowitzki over Pippen. 44 for Dirk Nowitzki. That is a playoff career high. Dallas equals their biggest lead of 9. Blazers have led by 13. Knocked away by Nowitzki. What a game this has been. Dallas jumped off to an 11-2 lead, lost that 9-point lead and trailed by 13. And now Dallas has come back. They have 2 subsequent leads of 9 in the second half.
And their offense has carried them, but their defense has been good. They've only allowed 30 points so far in this second half. And a lot of it is the confusion that they put with their zone.
Pippen is 2 of 7. Wells can't hit.
The interesting thing in that zone is that Nahara is playing the middle and almost like playing a boxing run. He's running out as if to guard almost everybody on the floor.
Nowitzki's got a double-double, 44 points and 10 rebounds.
And this is where it's tough to come back on Dallas because they're such great free throw shooters. You can't just start fouling and extend the game.
Dancing is Michael Finley. Rebound inside, claimed by McGinnis. Here comes Wells, and in to Wallace, who's got 26.
Defensively, they've got to tighten up. They've got enough time. They've just got to be smart. But as Danny said, if you start fouling them, they're a good shooting team. If you start helping, they can shoot.
Nash diving in, picked up by Wallace. Here comes McGinnis, approaching 2 minutes to play in the game.
And I like the aggressiveness, Nash going to the basket, because we saw what happened in Indiana today when they started pulling the ball out offensively. They lost their aggressiveness and could never catch it back. Way too early to not be aggressive.
Inside, Pippen trying to slash in a foul. It's inside on Scottie Pippen. He's got 4 fouls.
Well, and that's an example of his legs bothering him also, because once he starts, he's going to have difficulty stopping, so he's going to continue all the way to the basket for a charge.
An outstanding performance tonight by Dirk Nowitzki with the game-high 44. He holds a playoff record, 44 points. He beat out that man, Rolando Blackman, who held it before him with 33. A proud tradition in Dallas. The Mavericks coming back from 13 down tonight and leading 91-84. Steve Earle with the words, Dirk Nowitzki with the magnificent display. 44 points, topping Paul Pierce's 40 points today for Boston in the first day of the NBA playoffs, and what a day it has been. Outstanding individual performances, a couple of road teams winning. Phoenix and San Antonio, and Boston and Indianapolis. Portland looked like they were going to take this one when they led by 13, but Dallas had stormed back, and Nowitzki has led the way.
And their defense, again, it held Portland.
Wow, what a shot by Nahara, and a pinpoint pass by Stevie Nash.
And Nahara's just good enough offensively that you put a little guy on there, he's just going to bogart his way in the paint and just manhandle whoever's smaller down there. But again, Dallas's defense, they've held him to 32% shooting here in the second half.
Rebound by Patterson. And the subsequent 2.
And I think he did a little pushing to get that. I tell you, even if Dallas wins this game, I don't think the Blazers should be too down about this, because the one thing that they've controlled are their emotions and constantly played. They're playing on Dallas's court. You've got a 7-game series. This thing is not over. I think they've got a lot to take from this.
It's Nowitzki who is held. And Pippen picks up the foul, and Scottie Pippen has 5.
And watch Nowitzki come from the weak side. I'm sorry, Nahara. He's right here coming from the weak side. And he just flashes into the paint right there. Rasheed has nothing to do. He just flips it up there. Nahara's been an effective offensive player. This team's undefeated when he scores in double figures this year.
Well, and where he scores from is very important, too, because he's one of the few guys that they have that can get on the block, catch the ball in there, and be physical and be effective on the inside.
Nahara, just for note, 6 points in the game, all in this fourth quarter, as Dirk Nowitzki trains number 45. Scottie Pippen tonight, 2 of 7, as he was just tagged with his 5th. He's got 5 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds.
You know, and I don't think Dallas played a great game. I mean, Michael Finley and Steve Nash didn't give them what they normally do. Michael Finley had a good third quarter, but now he's starting to feel better about himself, and that's a scary thought. He looks fresh. Scottie, on the other hand, he looks old and sore and rusty.
Well, Scottie never got in the flow. You're absolutely correct, but I think he should be effective.
EJ in Atlanta, Sacramento Kings, Utah Jazz coming up next on TNT for John Stockton and Karl Malone, their 18th straight playoff appearance together. Amazing. Back to Kev.
We're back in Dallas. .65 seconds in regulation. Dallas has had numerous 9-point leads in this game, but at one time, Portland and Rasheed Wallace were up by 13 points. And Dallas has stormed back.
You know, Rasheed went down with that ankle sprain. They had an 8-point lead. 15-1 run after that.
And that's when that orthopedic surgeon got involved in this, the bone doctor. We went in the back, and while he was in the back, they made definitely a great run on him.
No changes either way. Dennis Patterson knocked away by Nowitzki, who again tries to deflect it. Wallace for 3. Good rebound offensively by Wells. A 3 by Pippen, no. Rebound inside, Michael Finley.
You know, I know Scottie's one of the greatest players that have ever lived, one of the best defensive guys, and he needs to play some, but you can tell his rust. I'm not trying to say he's a bad player, but he's been ineffective. And Derek Anderson, you know, he's one of their best players as well, the third leading scorer, and he really never got a chance to get in any sort of rhythm tonight.
Andre Wells, the foul. Danny Anderson has not been in since the 4-minute mark in the third quarter.
And you could tell he was not happy when he went out, and I feel for him a little bit. It's frustrating, and that's the dilemma when you have so many players and so many decisions to make as a coach.
Wells just picked up his 5th foul. Here comes our schedule now. In minutes from now, they'll tip it off in Sacramento, the Utah Jazz and the Kings. Tomorrow on ESPN, Orlando against Detroit. And then the Lakers in Minnesota on ABC, 3:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. Sunday, tomorrow night, TNT, the New Orleans Hornets against the Philadelphia 76ers. That'll be a beauty tomorrow night from Philadelphia.
You know, in Portland, he's got a good player in Antonio Daniels down there. He doesn't even get to play at all. And he's probably their best full-court defender on the team.
And I still think that even by their performance today, the one thing that Portland has done is they've stayed under control emotionally, and that's what everybody's always concerned. All they want is a split here. If they come back Wednesday and win, they've got the home court advantage. Certainly, it's a very tough team, but Dallas has done what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to win this game. I was the Blazers. I wouldn't get too down about this one loss in a 7-game series.
Dallas has their biggest lead right now. A miss by LaFrentz, picked up by Wells. And the final seconds ticking off. And Dallas has won game 1. Wells 3. That's it. The Dallas Mavericks have defeated the Portland Trail Blazers by 10, 96-86. Our Gatorade player of the game. It was a peak performance by Dirk Nowitzki, the double-double. 46 points, 10 of 11 from the free throw line, and he hauls down 10 rebounds. Dallas shot 63% in the fourth quarter. And they win it by 10 tonight over the 6th seed Portland Trailblazers. And now for Craig Sager, Danny Ainge, John Thompson, this is Kevin Harlan. Our producer, Mike Burks. Our director, Lonnie Dale. Our statistician, Pat McGrath. It's game one coming up next. The Utah Jazz and the Sacramento Kings. You're watching the NBA playoffs on TNT.